All right, welcome back, everybody. So today they had on the Diddy story they had Kid Cudi. I think Kid Cudi. Who is Kid Cudi? He's a rapper. What we now know is that he used to date Cassie for a little bit of time. He's a 41-year-old man. I think he's a rapper, right? Let me see. Yeah, he's a rapper. I never listened to his music before, but anyway, he's getting popular today because of this Diddy story. It was the one that Diddy is going through the Fed's case of RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking. Everybody thinks it's Cassie versus Diddy. Is not, gentlemen. It's Feds versus Diddy. Okay, why are they painting a picture of domestic violence? Welcome to the real world. They're just painting his character. They want to put him away for life. If you don't understand that, get used to it. All right. So Kid Cudi was testifying today, and a couple of things that he had to say. Let me see. Kid Cudi admits both he and Diddy were played. Okay, said both him and Diddy were played. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at. Let's see here. So he told the story of what happened. Basically, he said they were dating. It was like a break, some sort of break they had on and off relationship, Cassie and Diddy, right? And at one point, Diddy found out that they were dating, and Diddy put a threat out, and then Cassie called Cudi and said, "Hey, he found out, right? Be careful. Right? There's some threats, whatever." And he got home to his house. He found out that his security camera had been moved. His dog was locked up in the. His dog was actually locked up in a bathroom. So one of the things that he said is that he heard his dog. And then he put a call out to Diddy and said, no, somebody called him and said they saw Diddy camping out in a car near his house, right? All right, so thinking security with all that money, okay, all that money, right? Think about someone like PDD being so insecure about a young Cassie. I'm looking at Cassie. She's pretty, but she's not the prettiest girl in the world, okay? I don't know if she's black. Is she black? Well, she's light skinned, and she's not the prettiest girl in the world, okay? So the only thing that can make a guy want to destroy his own life or ended up destroying his own life because of a Cassie, because that's what happened here. Some people will say, well, women, Obering, will pull you down from the very from the very, very top. Well, that doesn't happen without demand and supply. What were you doing
More
there?
beauty.
All right. So but what would make a young lady, she is pretty, okay, but what would make a girl the age of your daughter, right, potentially pull you down in this way? The only thing I can think of is something deeply rooted, some kind of deficit mentally, internally, right? Some kind of internal battle. I can only think of insecurity. Okay, that's what I can think of. So he now put a call. Cuddy put out a call. This is according to the testimony to the, I'm paraphrasing, right? He put out a call to Diddy and said he wanted to fight him, you know, and Diddy actually said, "I'm on my way." Right? So, and then he called the police. So there's actually a police report. He called the police, and I think about a couple of years later, I think this was 2013, about 2016, there was a cut on top of his Porsche, the car, and the car was on fire. Somebody called him, and then the car was on fire, and that was also traced back to Diddy. And then he said years later, Diddy actually, Puff Daddy's actually apologized for the bullshit, right? He actually apologized for the bullshit, right? Let me see here. I'm looking for a post here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so he apologized for the bullshit years later. And then by the time he was done with his testimony today, there was actually a post here where um, he actually said, they asked him, You were played, right? And he said, yes. You were played by who? Miss Ventura. Let me see. I think this is it right here. Let me see 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. The post here say by I think it's one of the defense attorneys. Then he said yes. He said the person who played you is the same person who played Sean, Miss Ventura. True? And he said true. So now, what do you think about that? What do you take out of that? Chidima says for Diddy, it's not about Cassie being pretty, it's about control, or more accurately, losing control. Yes, yeah, I can connect that together with a deeply rooted internal battle, right? Um, he has the money, he can control with money, he can, but in terms of controlling persons or the situation, but what like he could literally get rid of Miss Ventura and just said, "That's it. I don't want to deal with her anymore. I can have other girls, right?" And he will have a whole lot of other people to control because a lot of people are coming out to say, "No, this guy was this," and we believe that because it's a consistent behavior, right? So he would have more than enough people to control. But what is it about this obsession with this one girl, right? What is it about him? So maybe it's control. I'm just thinking it out loud. I just know that it's something deeply rooted. It's some kind of deficit, internal deficit, something that money, obviously, there's no amount of money that could have fixed it. So he said, the person who played you is the person who played Sean, Miss Ventura. So I'm now wondering, I'm wondering, what do people think? I'm just curious. What do people think about that? So leave your comment. I would like to know what you think about it, but I'm just going to look at some of this comments here. Somebody said she's starting to look more like a co-defendant than a victim. Give Diddy some domestic violence charges and wrap this shit up by summer. It's not a domestic violence. That's easy. He already settled that because I think it's beyond statute of limitations too. So they settled that in the civil court already for $20 million. All right. Imagine dating a girl, then getting your car bombed. The girl breaks up with you to save your life, and you bounce into court full of smoke and defend that guy. So this is looking like he came there to defend Diddy because he said Diddy apologized eventually. And then he now said he got played as well. I can't wait to see what the manosphere will say about this. I don't think Cassie is as innocent as she's letting on folks. That's what some people are saying here. Okay. Now I'm looking at the kid Cudi. I don't know if I would really value much of what he has to say about this case, but they're going to value it in the court of law. Promise you. Okay. They're going to do everything in their power to put some value on what he just said here. Someone says, Cassie on trial or Diddy here? Shake my head. It's Diddy. So it's two sides to that. There's a defense and there's the government trying to put him away. Cassie is the real mastermind here. There you go. Somebody said this one is simple. She wanted to move on, but clearly couldn't. When you're in an abusive relationship, this is very normal. Right? Okay, so you got played. Could it be that you were see, that's what I tell about all these lame guys, man. Could it be that you were a rebound? You thought you were special, but you found out that you were a rebound after you got your. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying, could it be? It's a question. And then you got your car bombed, your dog got abused, your house got abused. People were scattering stuff all over your house. People broke into your house, into your home. Put your life at risk because of a girl. If a girl, what's the lesson here? Okay, what's the lesson here right now? Somebody who is emotionally involved with another person, you're messing with them. And they're not calling you to come and save them, and you want to go and save her. Because he also said she called at one point, and then after they said they had broken up, and then you went there to pick her up. Would you don't road you shall know, but be careful. Be careful. She was not intentionally trying to play him. Somebody said, when you're in an abusive relationship, this is very normal. She was not intentionally trying to play him. Maybe she had a little hope she could unlove her abuser and move on and victimize another person, right? Puffy wasn't just some basic abuser. I can't begin to imagine how trapped she felt. So many women living this nightmare daily. honestly, I don't even know where the lesson is going. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. I'm curious to see how you think of all of this. Someone said two things can be true. Even if she played him, they're still both victims of Diddy. True. That is true. That is true. That is true. Adama, hey Adama, good to see you. I didn't notice you were there. Sorry, Adama. Yeah, so yeah, two things can in fact be true. Someone said she left Diddy for Cudi but would cheat on Cudi with Diddy. So she feels safe enough to leave and start a new. That kind of girl will go back and forth between the two of you and probably end up settling with Diddy. Don't be surprised. Okay. He felt played by a woman who was beaten and tortured every damn day in every way. Not every day. See, they're doing the math wrong, right? These are people taking extreme sides with Cassie because they don't want to learn anything from this. Okay, all they're hearing is every day, every day. So you want to wait until. So now you won't know when to leave because you're waiting for someone to abuse you every day, every day. When you could just be like, okay, this person is unhealthy. Just one time they need to seek help before we continue with anything. You see how we miscalculate? Anyway. That's all I have on that story. I just want to hear your story. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Do you believe Kid Cudi, or do you think it's been bought, or do you think what do you think this is? Do you also feel confused like this is the what is this? Like is this Cassie? Is Cassie or I want to hear your thought. Let me know what you think about this. Were you surprised that this is what Kid Cudi had to say about this? Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you are notified when we go live. Moving on. I'll be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.